Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are here with another episode of 1899. One episode away from the finale. Last time on 1899, the brain is whiter than the sky. For put them side by side, the one the other will contain. That was in effect the entirety of the last episode. That was the opening theme for episode 1, in part because I can't remember the entire thing, but gets to the point. That was the overarching theme for the last episode. What you perceive isn't necessarily real. All you need to do is to shift your perspective. And we certainly got some answers in the last episode, not all, but I'm liking my theories more and more the further we get into the story. We now know that none of what we're experiencing is real. We entered what I'm calling the Mind Palace for both Mara and Captain Ike. We now know, okay, this is just a part of their memory that they've locked away. In effect, a traumatic event or something that they've experienced, and it's being accessed. I'm not sure by who specifically. I mean, it's there, but we know her father is trying to access her memories, but for the most part, they appear to be selectively choosing what memories the characters should have and the ones that should be locked away. Right. So for whatever reason, for Mara herself, that part of her, that memory has been locked away, and only discovered because everything has started to unravel. And I'm not sure that's by design. Based on the conversation that her father has with the second mate from the ship, he's able to move in and out of her psyche, and he said, well, the father says to him that they don't have a lot of time. I think one of the others said it, but they don't have a lot of time. So we know that there is a limit. There's a time limitation. However it is that they're accessing Mara's memories or the other characters' memories, I still believe that there are several of them in this facility. So however it is that they're accessing these people's minds, there is a limitation there, and they can't be there indefinitely, or at the very least they can't control the construct indefinitely. So they have a time limit in which to go in, search for the thing that they're looking for. It's kind of like Inception in a way, only not necessarily dreams, but the mind as a whole. So yeah, we now know that everything that we've witnessed so far is not necessarily real. I don't believe they are on the open seas. I believe the open seas is just a representation of the state of their mind at the moment. At the very end of the last episode, Captain Ike was zapped away because he was interfering with Daniel and Mara's reunion. Apparently they are married. And he sent Captain Ike away, and he's now in this amongst his fleet of abandoned ships. I'm assuming all this, the ship itself is just a means by which to traverse the minds of the characters. It's just a vessel, right? So whether you call it the Prometheus or the Kerberos, it doesn't matter really. They're all the same ship, but also not the same ship. You know what I mean? It's like an NPC in a game, or just randomly generating something specific in an RPG type world. They're all the same models in effect, even if they don't immediately look the same on the outside, right? So it doesn't matter what you call the ship. It's in effect the same thing. It's created for the same purpose. So that is out of the way. We just the real mystery for me at the moment is one, understanding how it is that they're accessing the minds of the characters. I think that will legitimize or delegitimize my second theory about the pyramids, the scarab or beetle or whatever, how that thing operates or the power that it possesses, whether that has any relation to Egyptian mythos or not. That is an aside for the moment, right? Until I have more evidence to support that. But the father does want that pyramid. We now know it's to repair his wife's mind, and he's willing to go to any means necessary to get it. Now, one of the good things that have happened this episode, or this series so far, not a lot of good things, but the relationship between Lingy and Oleg is heartwarming. It's one of the purest things so far. But is it real? Is any of it real, or did she construct Oleg? So we have a few mysteries remaining, right? One is how exactly they're accessing the characters' minds, and I don't know if that will be revealed to us before or after, but yeah, that is still a mystery. Secondly, are we exploring Mara's mind? She did have a conversation with Captain Ike on the ship, and he says maybe we are dreaming, but she says, whose dream is it? Is it yours or is it mine? So the second mystery is, who exactly are we? Are they having a shared experience, or are we in Mara's mind and everyone is just a construct and a figment of her imagination? I think some characters are, and I think some of them represent who she wishes she was, who she wants to be, and so on. But don't believe every character is made up. I think some characters are real. I believe they are also patients of the hospital that her father is at. And whatever the device is that her father is using, it is somehow able to have these characters together. I'm not exactly sure how these characters tie into the object that he's searching for, the pyramid, why it's hidden in the depths of their mind. So still quite a few mysteries, still quite a few questions. We got some answers in the last episode, but there's still a lot that we just don't know. Mrs. Wilson, I think, maybe slowly dying. She touched the thing and it's now spreading over her body. Still one of the most fascinating characters that I think is in the series. I'm curious to see where they take that character. The ship is now moving, or at least it now has power, but where exactly does this ship go, or where does it take them? Does it mean that they will wake up in this episode, or are they still trapped within their minds? We also caught up to Tove and her story and how she came to be on the ship. Another tragic incident, as is the case with many of these characters. So I am wondering whether that is a requirement for the device that Mara's father is using. Maybe the person's being experimented on need to have a traumatic experience in order for you to be able to access their minds. Not sure. Just more questions that I don't have answers for. But hopefully we'll get some answers this episode. Alright, that is it. Without further delay, episode 7. Let's check it out. Alright, so some memories are coming back. At least it's the good ones. It's too late for that. I don't know. She seems to have developed some affections for Captain Ike. But is Ike a real person, or is he a representation of what her husband is? It could be his story for all we know, or maybe Ike is the real person and she's, through this shared experience, she's just developed affections for him. Yeah, one wouldn't exist without the other, would it? Yeah. Or are we all just in one huge simulation?
Never forget.
Never ever.
Wake up, Mara. This is a dream. Where are they?
Mora?
Wake up, Mara. Oh. Okay. I guess he has a role in this. Again.
Mara! I beg you! Please! I need my device! Please!
I get not trusting him, and maybe she thinks he's working for her father. But he has answers, at least. Because I mean, who knows how that device works. Alright, the seas have become unstable because she's now unstable.
Need to find the captain.
She's our translator.
And Miss Franklin.
And she's the first person that Mara spoke to when the series started. And she sat at the table. So she has a role to play in all this. I'm just not sure what it is. It's too young to be Mara's mother, I want to say. But she has some relevance. That doesn't look creepy at all. Can you actually die in this mind palace? I'm not sure what the rules of this place are.
You right. Where is everyone? Where is the capsule? What is this? I don't even touch the fire. I have never seen anything like it. I think I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. You're not going to die. No one is going to die. Just think of it all as a bad dream.
What?
Maybe he's back in his memory.
So curious to see what happens when time runs out. How long did he say they had? 48 hours? Or whether this substance that is coming through is their mind actually fighting back and trying to expel these alien elements from it. Okay, that's digital. It's definitely not tech from 1899. Why would he choose that period for this mind palace? Hopefully the boy finds her because she needs some help.
Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
What does happen when you enter someone else's mind palace
Haben Sie sich verlaufen?
alone?
Geht es Ihnen gut? Kann ich Ihnen helfen? Haben Sie sich verlaufen? Geht es Ihnen gut? Kann ich Ihnen helfen? Haben Sie sich verlaufen?
Huh. Good point.
Wie nutzt der VZ?
Doesn't hurt to have them.
Tot?
Okay. God helps those who help themselves. Do something, woman. So she does know. Or she just in denial? I think he just doesn't want to abandon his wife, but when your daughter needs you, if you didn't help her before, you should help her now. Forget mom, okay? People are starved of hope, I guess. So this location that's supposed to represent their mind, it appears to be very physical, very real. So is that the real world, and this is a machine of some sort? We'll see. Ja, that's where Angel was.
Niemand ist auf der Brücke. Der Offizier ist weg. Und der Kapitän ist nicht zurück.
Oleg, du musst das Ruder übernehmen. Wir müssen direkt in den Sturm hineinsteuern. Bug voraus. Wenn der Rumpf parallel zu den Wellen
Alright, let's go.
dann kentern wir.
Ich helfe.
Niki. Przyjdź na mostek.
Let's hope this isn't a Titanic situation. Ah, so the room from the beginning, that's his. Yeah, memories are coming back. Alright, boy. Is he her son? It's a lot of responsibility to give to a kid, though. I'm going to dive into your mother's mind and try and save her from herself. I need you to come with me and take this object that your grandfather is searching for. What's interesting is that her father isn't trying to stop Daniel. I mean, he sees what he's doing, so why is it that he doesn't have visibility in every area of their mind?
Mom.
It must be, because he's looking for the boy and the object, so
But we'll get her out.
if he knew where he was, he would have
Once and for all.
found him.
You have to find the code. She has to remember where it is.
How are they building this simulation? Because this is technology beyond what we're capable of. Or is she somehow leading her father to what he wants without realizing it?
His name is Elliot.
Our son. He's a weird kid.
He's our son.
You've had glimpses of that memory.
I would feel it if I had a son.
Was her son an experiment? Because I get the impression that Daniel maybe used to work for her father. He knows this place just too well. Oh, so much for Captain Ike.
You said it yourself. We will never know whether the stimuli in our brains are caused by reality or just by the construct of one.
Construct of one.
This isn't real.
Alright, here comes the exposition dump.
What's real? You have to wake up, or there will be nothing left to wake up for, and your consciousness will be
So it's
trapped
just a
in here
loop that
forever.
keeps going on and on. So once time is up, does it just restart? Ah, she also got a letter. Hmm. 21 hours. Oh, he's gotten the message that they found the pyramid. Why couldn't he see that himself, though? He seems to be able to see so much. Oh no, we found him.
They're shutting down the simulation. There's a code, an override. It's the only way out of here before everything restarts. It's somewhere on
You
the
built
ship.
it.
You have to
helped
remember
build
where it
it.
is.
Is it the book? The book that, but she looked at it and then this guy just looked at it, the second mate. Oh, okay.
Was that you the whole time?
It's not mine. I got it with the envelope. Someone sent it to me. I think it was my brother.
Uh-oh. Is he out of medication?
Lucien! Lucien! Non! Sauver ce gamin! Lucien, tu dois pouvoir
He
aller où,
didn't have a
Lucien?
whole lot.
Fonce ses ampoules.
J'ai une voix dans notre cabine.
Oh, okay. There.
Aide-moi.
Why didn't you carry them with you, man? Oh. Jerome actually trying to save his life. Wouldn't it be easier to go and get them and come back? I mean, trying to carry him the whole way is that's just going to take more time.
Once they flush this out, everything will start again. And this run will go into the archive just like the others.
It's going to change something.
So we'll go through the same port. This will buy us more time.
They're changing a little at a time. Similar to Dark.
We have to get to Elliot.
She won't remember any of it when the loop restarts. Oh no. Come on, Oleg, stop her. But he has to hold the ship. Not that that even matters at this point. Oh no, she's gonna get washed up. Hang on. Oh, god damn it. Yeah. The Titanic moment. We didn't get a backstory for him. I thought we would because we did see Daniel pass through a mind palace where there was a photo with the Statue of Liberty. So I figured that was his, but maybe not. I guess he's just a part of Ling Yi's memories or story. Alright, let's save the man who ruined my life. Oh, they're too late. Wow.
¡Alguien! ¡Ayuda, por favor! ¡Alguien!
Now, I don't understand it either. I also am puzzled. I don't get why you like him either. I just don't get it. This feels like an abusive relationship, man. You need to let him go. It's sad that he's dying. But he wasn't good for you.
Go hunting. Go for it, go hunting. Look up.
You have to push it, so you'll have to close it. You can only save her. Seemed like such a terrible guy at the beginning, but he's been making sensible choices. Even telling them about Ada and so on. Turned out to be an alright guy. I mean, if the ship goes down, she won't be alive for long. Alright, simulation has ended.
I found him.
Okay, damn. So will it still reset now that he has everything he needs?
It's human nature's ultimate flaw. One shouldn't base a choice on love, anger, hate.
The boy seems to be devoid of any feelings whatsoever, so I'm wondering whether he's some creation or experimentation. of maybe even, you know, a result of their research.
Nevertheless, you failed. Again.
Yeah. He also knows Reddit. So I gather the two of them worked on this simulation with her father. They helped build it. She did say she specializes in the human mind at the very start.
I want the key.
And in return, you will keep your son.
So the keys for the pyramid. So is Daniel even alive, or is he just what remains, you know, in her mind and a way out to bring her back? You know, has the boy, has the pyramid, just needs the key. Oh. It's the end. They're all gonna join Captain Ike, who we haven't seen since he was sent away. That looks amazing and terrifying. Maybe he was lucky. What's his place in all of this, right? I mean, Daniel even seemed threatened by him in some way, and vice versa, to be honest. And I'm guessing he won't die here since this is a simulation, so he's just trapped here. Oh, they're still alive. Okay. Alright, episode 7 of 1899. Oh, that was a wild ride. Alright, so my alternative theory seems to have gone straight out the window. At least for the moment. Again, nothing to support it still. But my main theory still remains intact. Insofar as this being a construct in their mind, and her father being the one, you know, manipulating, you know, their minds first to obtain something. We know it's the pyramid. He now has it. He now has boy, which we now know is the son of Daniel and Mara. So both he and his son, I'm guessing, are trying to rescue her, but we're still missing that big part of the puzzle, which is how exactly are they creating this construct? The technology that we've seen over the course of the last 2 episodes, but especially this one, appears to be far advanced, especially. So we're definitely not in 1899. We're at some point in the future, and you know, where we're able to create this simulation. So it'd be difficult to tell at which points it's a simulation as opposed to a physical construction, because when Daniel was trapped, you know, he was physically moving around a device. It feels as though this is a set location, and these rooms have been created for these individuals, and that's what each of the mind palaces are. But I'm just not clear at what point of it, you know, what part of what we've seen is in the physical world and what part is psychological. So I haven't quite made that distinction yet, and I don't think we will until we understand exactly what the device is, how exactly they're creating these constructs, you know, in their minds. I think until we get a bit of information on that, the type of technology that we're using, I can't speculate too much beyond what I've said already, right? But yeah, so from what we know, yes, this is a simulation. So it's similar to Dark in a way. At this point in time, Daniel is trying to change small things, so that the next time that the simulation is rebooted, he's in a better position to communicate with Mara. I'm not quite clear what role Captain Ike plays in all of this. He and Mara appear to be close. Okay, first off, I think it's safe to say at this point that both Daniel and Mara helped to create this simulation. Whether willingly or not, I think he worked together with her father in creating it, and at some point, and I'm not sure at what point, she decided it was too dangerous for him to be in his hands, and so she hid it and then made herself forget. And now he's exploring the depth of her mind, trying to figure out, where she hid all this. But yeah, that's my adding to my working theory at the moment. I'm not sure where Ike is concerned. There is tension between he and Danielle whenever they interact. Obviously, she was growing closer to him in her mind. So I do wonder whether Daniel is even alive, right? Or whether he's trapped in Mara's mind. And maybe her son as well. So again, it all comes back to, okay, when we understand how exactly they're making this trip, what device they're using to do this, a few things will become more clear, because I'm not sure how the world itself works, and that will inform other theories. Because she seems to be close to Ike in her mind, but in the real world, apparently that's her husband. I'm not sure if... Initially, I thought maybe Ike was a manifestation of what her husband is supposed to be, but Daniel doesn't seem to like him very much, So that seems to not be the case. And the fact that he sent Captain Ike somewhere else altogether to get him out of there, so that he wouldn't interfere with Mara or his discussion with Mara, it just lends itself to that there's some importance to Captain Ike that we're not yet seeing. Maybe Mara came close to him, or who knows, maybe Daniel died and Mara moved on and she met Captain Ike and they grew close together. But what remains of Daniel in her mind doesn't want that. But again, until we learn more about the technology that and the workings of the world, I leave that where it is, because I don't have a lot of information to add to it just yet. But yeah, it's we got a lot more answers. I would say more answers than we did get in season 1 of even Dark so far. So a lot of information is being revealed a lot sooner. So this, in terms of pacing, not that I had a problem with the pacing of Dark, but I know some people did. I didn't. I like the pacing. This does appear to be moving a tad more faster than Dark did, as far as giving us some answers. Maybe this is a result of feedback, that the writers took from Dark to say, okay, maybe some people felt it didn't go fast enough, so we're going to give you more answers sooner rather than later. So that could be it. Yeah, we lost a few characters this episode, but does any of it matter? The other mysteries, whether which characters are real and which ones are just a figment of Mara's imagination. So I had hypothesized that all the people that we have been getting an opening sequence with, that those are real people, and that somehow they're having a shared simulation. But again, it comes back to what technology we're using to create this. And as I said, that revelation will fill in a lot of the gaps that I have in some of my theories. So I need that bit of information. How exactly is this simulation created? What technology are we using here, and what are the rules of that? As for the significance of the pyramid and the scarab, I'm not sure if maybe the writers are just pulling from mythology or whether these names and symbols have significance to the story itself. I mean, similar to even if we, not to keep going back to Dark, but even if we compare it to Dark and the triquetra, right, which did have some significance, although it was like in alchemy, which isn't a real science, but they were able to use that use that to kind of mix and match with science to create something else. So I do wonder whether they're doing something similar here, and so they're pulling from, you know, using the names like the Prometheus and the Kerberos, the pyramid itself, and the beetle that apparently opens up thresholds. So at what point does science end and, you know, and fiction and surrealism begins? That bridge, you know, we haven't gotten there yet. And again, it will come back to what exactly the technologies that we're using. When we got that information in Dark, we knew, okay, the briefcase, the chair. Once we understood all of that, you know, it gave us a foundation that we needed to build upon the theories that we already were drawing on. We haven't gotten that quite yet. We haven't gotten the chair or the briefcase in this story yet, right? And that's what I'm missing. Once I get that, I think I'll have a clearer view of what the story is, or what we can sort of expect. Yeah, so we're in the shipyard now with the characters that remain. Her father is agreeing to make a trade-off, or otherwise they'll be stuck there forever. I mean, I don't think they'll die, because again, it's just a construct in their mind. So they won't die, they'll just be trapped there and maybe go, who knows, go crazy, assuming that they already aren't. This is insane. So I guess we'll see, unless they figure a way out. If Mara decided that the only way to keep this from her father was to lock this away in her mind, knowing what she knows, I would think that there were easier ways to do it. So I'm not sure if maybe she had a more grand plan to stop her father, and he just intervened before she was able to get to that. But there's very much still a mystery surrounding her role in all of this. As I said, I still think that she helped build this simulation. But then also her son, who appears, I mean, in some instances he appears to be a normal kid, in others he seems emotionless. And her father speaks there at the end about human emotion and that being a weakness. So I do wonder whether their son is a result of some experimentation, you know, and why she wanted to forget that she had a child, because she did have a conversation with Daniel, and he said that, you know, she wanted to forget, right? So why else would she want to forget that she had a child, unless she feels that she did something that she shouldn't have done, right? So yeah, I think it's all very interesting. The woman in the green dress, Mrs. Wilson, we saw this episode that she actually had a letter, and I don't know why I'm so fascinated with this character. It's just that she appears to, at some instance, it appears as though she's not relevant to the story, but then when the things that she does do and say appears to be relevant, you know. As I mentioned in the episode, she's the first person that Mara interacts with when the episode starts, and then they have that discussion about what Mara does and a lot of the information. I just feel as though there's some relevance, and there was a glimpse, two characters that looked at a book that was in the room, both the second mate and Mara, when they were going through Daniel's room to enter his mind palace. There was a book there that they both glanced at, and there was a name on it. I was trying to find it, but I'll go back through and look at it, and if there's any merit to it, then I'll come back to it in the next video to see if it helps any of the theories that I've been having. But the one thing that we can say for sure is that at this point in time, we have not seen what the real world actually looks like. Based on the technology that we've seen on display, I imagine we are some distance in the future. So it's not technically time travel, they're just creating a simulation. The question as to whether, as to why they chose to create a simulation in 1899 is still up in the air. I'm not sure why they chose that period specifically. Yeah, but it's all very interesting. It's all very interesting. Jerome and damn it, I always forget her name. Clemens. Curious to see where that's going to go, right? I think Lucien is now dead. But it was interesting, the conversation between Lucien and Jerome before his passing. Lucien coming clean, but saying that he got what he deserved. But Jerome legitimately showing concern for him and even trying to save his life, which is more than he deserves. More than he deserves. Both him and Angel, not great people, but Jerome tried to help him, and they were too late. But again, is any of this real? Or I suspect at least one of them is real. I would imagine that it's Jerome. It's not. I don't think it's Clemens, because from the very start, the things, her attire and everything appears to have symbols from the company and so on. She very much feels like she's a part of the simulation. Jerome, I don't think is. So I do think that several of these characters are alive and are having a shared simulation with Mara. And if it is that we are in fact in the future, it could be that maybe these people are members of her team who helped her build this simulation, and in trying to find where she hid that secret, her father is exploring all their minds and trying to figure that out. But again, I'm not adding anything to my theory as yet until I know what the device itself is, and that hasn't been revealed to us. So we'll leave it there, and hopefully in the finale we'll get a bit more information. We definitely won't get everything, but I suspect they will answer some questions for us. Alright guys, that is it for episode 7 of 1899. Be sure to post down below in the comments, let me know what your thoughts and your theories are. I'm curious to know what your theories are on this world so far, and what time period do you think exactly we are in. And how exactly they're making this simulation come to life. So be sure to post down in the comments and let me know. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you for the finale.